Hello, it is Tuesday, July 14th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Thursday puzzle today, which means some kind of interesting or intricate or ambitious or unusual theme is in store for us today. And what's also hopefully in store for us today is better audio quality. I apologize for the poor audio quality yesterday in my remote setup, which was particularly noisy, and also took me, it was something, I think it took something like 6 hours for the crossword to actually upload to YouTube, for the video to upload to YouTube. So instead of recording in my hotel room this morning, I decided to wait until I was back home. So this will also be going up a bit late, but it should sound much better. So this orally improved edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Josh Lucas, David Innes, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster, the invaluable Timothy Mark, the inimitable Connor O'Neill, and the infallible Cynthia Toms. So thank you so much to the 6 of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign. If you'd like to join their ranks as benefactors and get the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses mug, you can, of course, find that at patreon.com/dailysolve, where you can also back the Patreon campaign at any level and get access to all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the channel to date, as well as the new ones that go up each week. So do go investigate that if it sounds of interest to you. And what else? What else to mention? You can join the Daily Solve Discord chat server. That is free for anybody to join, and there's a link as well in the description field underneath the video, along with the Patreon link. And let's get on to the puzzle. Let's move on. We have today a Thursday puzzle, as mentioned, constructed by Alan Arbesfeld, who's a very experienced New York Times crossword constructor. I think well over 100 puzzles. And in fact, I'm pretty certain, I didn't double check this, but I believe Alan Arbesfeld was also the constructor of the cryptic crossword I recently solved for patrons, the New York Times cryptic crossword that went up on the channel on Sunday or so. And I think that was his first cryptic crossword, certainly today not his first New York Times general knowledge crossword, and it was edited, as always, by Will Shortz. So let's start solving. It isn't much. It could be a sou, not one sou, not one bit, not one jot. You could have an ort, a bit of not much food. I mean, it could be so many different things. What about this? Best-selling author of legal thrillers. I'm sure I'll recognize the name when I see it, but I'm not sure just right offhand. Elemental could be basic, maybe, a basic element of something. Come to the rescue. I'm checking the crosses because it could probably be other things. Bit of yapping, maybe an arf, 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 a dog might yap. And blank pretty, sit pretty. You could sit pretty if you're just biding your time, I suppose. Retail giant founded in 1943 by a 17-year-old. Interesting. Is it IKEA? Didn't know that 17-year-old thing. That's pretty fascinating. Actress Alexander of Living Single. Erica looks like it must be the answer with these crosses. And it often comes in 60, 72, and 84-month lengths. A cash deposit? A CD? Not sure. Come to the rescue. Be a hero, maybe? Would that be, I'm thinking? Seeking a dry Italian wine after Asti or something? After Prosecco? What's a dry Italian wine? Pinot? I don't know. I don't know enough about wine. I'm absolutely not I'm not educated when it comes to wine, I must admit. So I'm not the right person to be. It'll be a pun of some kind, presumably, or maybe it will have some alliteration. That's why I thought maybe Asti or something. Anyway, carnival, and it's probably thematic. This is probably related to the theme. This is a classic location in the grid, classic position for a theme answer. Anyway, carnival locale, briefly. I'm not sure. Penguins and sharks are found in it. Those look like sports teams because of the capitalization of sharks. But I'm not sure what league or sport or whatever. The U in UX is user, as in user experience, UX and UI, user experience and user interface. Kirin alternative. Isn't that a beer? I think a Japanese beer, maybe. Asahi would be another. Furnishings, decor, interior furnishings, decor. And it isn't much, just a tad. I think that was one of my guesses that I rapidly cycled through. Oh, best-selling author of legal. Oh, right. I've never read anything by this person, but I'm going to Scott Turin or Turau or something like that. I've certainly seen this name in bookstores, but I'm not sure read to be certain. Go could be race, yeah. So that TUR looks right. Pick me could simply be OOO. Right. I think this is Turau maybe. Screen makeup. Wire, if it was a wire mesh screen, perhaps. There we go. So take up again in a way you could rehem a dress, for instance. Take up the dress, rehem it. A tailor would do so, I mean, or just a person. Fervor over Senator Rubio. So Senator Marco Rubio, it's a U.S. politician. And fervor, Marco-mania or something? I mean, that's the most obvious thing. Again, it has that alliteration, but it doesn't seem to fit. So let's keep looking. Saudi neighbor, could be an Omani, a resident of Oman. And political columnist Peggy Noonan for, is she in the New York Times? I actually don't really remember, but I recognize the name. Checked out could be maybe scoped out. And roast target, e.g. Oh, an honoree, right. You could be conducting a roast of somebody and be delivering that sort of tongue-in-cheek tribute of roasting them, insulting them in a good-natured way. Okay, often, right, what is this? It often comes in 60, 72, and 84-month lengths. Oh, a car loan it must be. There we go, a car loan. Okay, that makes sense. And a tankard filler, you could fill a tankard of ale. What a paper airplane may represent. What would a paper airplane represent? What does that mean? I don't know. Taking care of business, you could be on it, maybe. Oh, send, the icon, an icon with an illustration of a paper airplane. Not a paper airplane itself, but an image of a paper airplane. A send button on email and things like that. I see. Okay, speechless. In brackets. So could be some sort of gasping sound or something like that. The brackets may be indicating something nonverbal, but I'm not sure what that is. Stellar phenomenon. A nova, maybe? A star going nova? Stellar referring to star, that could be it. Penguins and sharks are found in it, right. So what is this? It'll be a league, presumably. Phone tapping target, question mark. So tapping, so a number, what would you tap on your phone? A screen, an icon. There we go. And the question mark indicates a bit of punnery or wordplay. So when you read this phone tapping target, it looks like you're talking about tapping a phone line, listening in on someone's phone conversations. Maybe law enforcement might do that. But the question mark indicates a bit of a pun. And in this case, we're actually reading it more literally tapping on the screen. Okay, had down. You knew something. You had it down. Oh, penguins and sharks are found in it. What? Oh, a rink. The ice hockey teams. That was my guess because of the penguins theme. That thing that seemed like an appropriate ice hockey animal. So a rink, an ice rink, skating rink, and a carnival locale. Rio de Janeiro, famous carnival in Rio. Okay, so what was this? Seeking a dry Italian wine after. Sauve, is that the name? That must be the name of an Italian wine. So it looks like this is after shave, but we're changing the O to an H, or maybe it's a rebus. Maybe we're putting an O, the exclamation O. We're putting that into the grid. I think we are, because that works with the Marco thing. So for the down we have Rio, and for the across we have aftershave. And don't reckon so could simply be nah, don't reckon so, nah. And speechless, maybe I can't even. So a way to represent the sensation of being speechless. So in this case, with brackets, the square brackets around a clue, they're a bit ambiguous, because sometimes they mean the clue is the nonverbal bit, and sometimes they mean the answer is the nonverbal bit. I've seen both, and you have to just be flexible in how you're interpreting it. So in this case, it means the clue is the nonverbal bit, and that's corresponding to the actual words, I can't even. And the reason speechless is in brackets is because I can't even isn't the equivalent to saying speechless. It's the equivalent to being speechless. And so speechless is nonverbal in this case. Anyway, the thing I was going to say about this is that this looks like Marco Madness, or in the Downs, or sorry. Oh, wait, I see. No, sorry, I completely misexplained this. So it's after shave. Maybe there is no O. Sauve must be a dry Italian wine, or Soave or something. Right, I think I said that, and then I kind of lost track and went on to this Rebus thing. So it is just Marco Madness, and so the original would have been March Madness, but we're changing it to an O. So I think that's what's going on, sorry. So I don't think there's any need for the two letters in there, because the whole thing now is just the pun Marco Madness, which is the O substituting in for the original H in the phrase March Madness, just as the O substitutes for the H in aftershave. Okay, sorry about that. I completely went off on an erroneous detour, I think. So Marco Madness after Soave, I guess. I just don't even know that wine. Anyway, por favor would be please in Spanish, and one of a percussive pair could be maracas. So one of them is a maraca, the sort of clicking, that little clicking percussive instrument. And a colorful woven shawl could be a serape. Let's see, what have we not seen yet? Put on clothing could be to don, an article of clothing. And like many tracks, even or over? Not sure what that is. Avid? Aware of something could be in on the joke. You're aware of the joke, you're in on the joke. Like many tracks. Over? Me too. So, And a whole bunch could be a scad or a slew or... Oh, many tracks are oval-shaped, as in race tracks. I see. I was not in the right frame of mind at all on that. So a whole bunch is indeed a slew, and if something has been just released, it's new, and that rhymes. And me too, I see. You say same. Yeah, me too, same. Muse of memory. This muse is not striking me at the moment. Onami? Gettysburg General... Why can't I bring this to mind either? I'm falling apart. What about over here? Graphic text. Oh, an emoji, perhaps. A bit of a graphical icon that is essentially functions as text technologically. Like many signers. And prefix with bus or science. Omnibus or omniscience. So this is maybe a slightly tricky clue to think about, because bus, omnibus, bus basically sounds the same. But when you apply the prefix omni to science, it creates omniscience. So you don't say omniscience. And so that might throw you off the scent, I suppose, because your brain might not be thinking of that word pronounced in that way. Year in Tuscany. Anno, year. And Billy with a record 100 plus lifetime performances at Madison Square Garden. It must be Billy Joel. Sounds like the likely answer with those crosses. And like many signers, dead? Just in the sense that most people who have done anything are dead in terms of their total proportion of people who have done any particular thing. Doesn't really seem like the right way to think about this clue. It seems a bit pedantic. I'm not sure what that's getting at. Like the results of loaded dice. Non-random, right, okay. Because the dice are predisposed towards a particular result. Blazer worn next to a blaze. Blazer worn next to a blaze. A fire something? Oh, I see. Like many signers are deaf. People signing in sign language. There we go. That makes sense. That's much better than the completely bizarre train of thought I was on. Okay, blazer worn next to a blaze. A fire something. So this will have an I think this will be another theme answer that will have an O that used to be an H. Plenty could be a lot, and they might get busted at a rock concert. And here we have a road trip respite is an inn. You could stay over at an inn. And home to Alaska's oldest newspaper. There is a city in Alaska, Nome, so that's probably the answer. Concern for Cupid could be amor, love. And a showroom display is a demo. You can have a demo in a I don't know, car showroom maybe or something. A big Apple product. So Big Apple looks like the city of New York, but it's a bit of misdirection and referring to, I guess, a successful or large product released by Apple Computer, which is an iPad. And a TV show about a group of whales. So a pod is a group of whales. I wonder if this O has been changed from PhD. There could be another O, though. Let's look at this. No amateur would be a pro. So PhD something, pod something, I'm still not sure. Pod program? Oh, PhD program, yes. And so a pod program is the TV show about a group of whales, and PhD program is the original phrase from which this is being derived. And there is another O in there, but it's not one that's been changed from an H. To take off is to soar, to fly, and a valuable diamond is what? Not sure. Light shows and fire. Oh, fireside chat, a fireside coat. Oh, that's funny. Blazer worn next to a blaze is a fireside coat. That is a good one because fireside chat does not sound like the kind of phrase you could change, of which you could change one letter and have it turn into another, to a sort of punny phrase in that way. That's very good. Light shows, what about this? There's a Gettysburg General. This we've not seen yet. Best Actress Oscar winner between Bullock and Streep. I don't know off the top of my head. I just don't know. Sedative for short could be a tranquilizer, trank. And Husband of Bathsheba. I'll recognize this when I see it, but I can't bring it to mind. Roger, who wrote A Season in the Sun. I suppose trank could be abbreviated with a C or a K, maybe? Actually not sure. What about this? Good one. Nice, maybe? And a court recorder could be a steno for a stenographer, someone who records in written form court proceedings. Firefighter, familiarly, or a phonetic hint to the puzzle's theme. So here we go. Here's our, looks like a sort of mini revealer here at the very, very end of the puzzle. A firefighter, familiarly, or a phonetic hint to this puzzle's theme. HO, something around H2O, or H2O. Right, okay. So we are turning H2O and firefighter, water, H2O, 2 hydrogens, 1 oxygen atom, is water, which is a firefighter. Okay, so do we put a 2 in there? Yes, we do put a 2 in there. Wow, it's been a very long time since I've seen a number in the New York Times crossword grid, and I suppose I wonder if it'll accept either 2 in a rebus or the number 2. I'm going to put the number 2 in because it looks much nicer. So double the speed of sound would be Mach 2, Mach 1 being the speed of sound, and then each number is a multiple of it. Okay, what do we have here? They might get busted at a rock concert. Eardrums might get busted. And to rip into is to tear at, I suppose. What was this again? Sedative for short. Excuse me, sorry. This could be Roger Kahn. Oh, Uriah would be the husband of Bathsheba, and then Roger Kahn, I suppose. Boy, I hope that's a K. Trank. K looks like a more likely abbreviation than a C. This is a tough cross though because of this abbreviation. I would have assumed it was a Q, but that doesn't look right at all. Okay. Oh, Natalie Portman must have been the best Oscar winner between Bullock and Streep. There we go. And a tuna variety, ahi tuna, very frequently, encounter that frequently. Victrola maker, RCA. So that was what, a gramophone, RCA being a big audiovisual AV equipment manufacturer, consumer audiovisual equipment. Cafe order could be a mocha, cafe mocha. And feat for a performer in brief. Oh, an EGOT, the Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. the so Emmy is what, television, or what is an Emmy? Emmy's television, I think, and then Grammy is music, and Oscar is film, and Tony is theater. Right? Okay, so that's the sweep of the major awards for those big performing arts, big sort of mass performing arts forms. Tough spot to get out would be a stain, to get out of clothing. I think it's composers are the people who are most likely to get EGOTs because their work is so similar across. They do lots. Composers work on lots and lots and lots of things across different media. Anyway, light shows. Oh, I see. Light shows are sitcoms. Another light in this case, not meaning light shows like laser shows, but light meaning metaphorically light, so not heavy and intellectual and difficult sitcoms. They're easy watches. And a valuable diamond is an ace. Oh, as in a diamond is in the suit of cards. I completely didn't pick up on that at all. And that wasn't. I didn't finish filling in the puzzle. Sorry. Gettysburg General. Oh, Meade, and then Neme or Neem. I mean, this is clearly related to the word mnemonic and memory in general. And there we have it. Okay, so this was interesting. I suspect there were some people who were befuddled by this and tried to put in maybe HHO for two H's and the O, or I don't know. I can imagine. I wonder. I don't think I can check now. Yeah, I can't delete this and try the rebus and putting in the word TWO. I wonder if that works. If you happened to try that, let me know if it worked out. So this was an interesting puzzle in that I think it was honestly a pretty smooth solve for a Thursday puzzle. Didn't really struggle much at all, except in a few very specific cases where I got tripped up, like Trank and Con, and Mead and Neme. I'm sure I'm butchering that pronunciation, both of which involved proper nouns. And it's no surprise that those are often the trickiest crosses. And was there anything else? I think those were the two areas I remember getting hung up. Yeah, I don't think there were any other big moments of resistance, but those two definitely. But for the most part, I thought this was a very smooth solving Thursday, and I had a bit of a false start in understanding the theme when I thought maybe there was some kind of rebus thing going on throughout the puzzle, but no, not at all. We've just changed the H's to O's throughout the puzzle from the original phrases. So our aftershave becomes after suave. I again apologize. I'm probably saying that terribly due to my ignorance. March Madness becomes Marco Madness. This is my absolute favorite. I think this is extremely clever. Fireside Chat becomes Fireside Coat. That's just such a good find. And PhD Program becomes Pod Program. And there we have it. That is our H2O themed puzzle. And this is a very clever revealer. So to quickly explain the concept of a revealer, because people usually do ask when I mention this, the revealer is the clue that ties together the rest of the theme in the puzzle. So it usually explains what's happening in the theme. And that is the case here in a very, very pithy, compact way. It's very clever. It is H2O. We are literally changing the H to an O in each of these clues. Very clever. And very compact. And it is very much in the sort of location predicted by Lyle's law. Lyle being the Daily Solve viewer who coined this description, this law. I suppose it's not so much a law, but this model of where the revealer tends to be located. It tends to be located in the across clues towards the end of the puzzle, most commonly towards the southeast corner of the grid. And there it is, as predicted. And that's that for today's puzzle. Hope you enjoyed it. I did. A good solid Thursday puzzle from Alan Arbesfeld with a bit of some tricky spots. And now let's discuss a few clues from yesterday's puzzle. Bradley says, I think the female soccer player you were half remembering was Mia Hamm. Mia Love is a former congresswoman from Utah. Yes, I think you're right. I think I just sort of got the Mia in my head and thought, oh, that must be it. Anyway, Pablo Sandoval is a beloved former member of the San Francisco Giants championship teams of the early mid-2010s who won 3 World Series in 5 years. He has the nickname Kung Fu Panda and is currently playing in the Mexican League after failing to make a U.S. Major League roster the last couple of years. Thank you for that. That's particularly embarrassing that I don't know it because I was presumably living in. I lived in San Francisco for essentially my entire adult life, except for a couple short stints elsewhere until I moved to London. And I would have been there during that run. I mean, I remember that incredible run, but I still didn't help me with Pablo Sandoval. So whoops. And Kathleen Quinn regarding Yahweh, the Yahweh, says the first time in Scripture that God provides his name was to Moses in Exodus 3:14, when God tapped Moses to go to Pharaoh and tell him to let his people go, and Moses wanted to be able to say who sent him. Quote, and God said to Moses, I am who I am. And he said, this is what you shall say to the sons of Israel. I am has sent me to you. I am is Yahweh in Hebrew, translated in the Christian Bible as Lord, appearing in all caps. And then Elon Itan replies to say the Hebrew is better translated as I will be what I will be. In both cases, I am isn't Yahweh. And then Elon has a transliteration of the actual Hebrew that I'm not capable of reading because I don't know that alphabet, but very interesting. And then Kathleen Quinn says, thank you for the correction. To be more precise then, the phrase the Lord in Exodus 3:15 is the Hebrew for Yahweh and means he is or he will be. Very interesting discussion. Thank you for that. Lasagna clarifies, indeed, Who Am I is the title of a song from Les Miserables in which Jean Valjean debates whether or not to let another man go to prison for his crimes. The titular line is Jean Valjean asking himself what kind of person he is. So thank you for that. I did suspect it was the title of a song, but I wasn't personally familiar with it. Okay, ZOR95 says Jacob was the main werewolf in the Twilight Saga. People would refer to themselves as being Team Jacob or Team Edward. Sparkly 100-odd-year-old vampire. Okay, depending on who they wanted the lead female character Bella Swan to end up with. So thank you for that clarification. And another embarrassing thing here, in terms of a hole in my knowledge, Michael Blazin explains Ollie or Oli beers from the Olympia Beer Company, based in Olympia, Washington, the state capital. Your unfamiliarity with the state capital of Washington points to the fact that only about a third of the 50 states have the largest city as their capital. Well, to be fair, so one of the places I also lived for a couple of years was in Seattle, Washington. And so I was aware of Olympia as the state capital of Washington, but I just didn't know Oli or Ollie beer. It's just not part of my knowledge. And Dragon Traces says, what was the Olympia Brewing Company was based in Tumwater, Washington, near but not actually in the capital city of Olympia. The beer was called Olympia beer, Oli being a very commonly used nickname of sorts, was being the operative word since no one is currently producing Olympia beer by any name any longer, likely one of many reasons Chris has never heard of it. I mean, that must be it. And Dragon Traces says, I was born in Seattle and have been a nearly lifelong resident of the state of Washington, barring short stints in Alaska, California, and Idaho, and always very happy to come home. I'm familiar with Ollie and its competition with the much better Rainier beer. I do know Rainier beer. I have had Rainier beer. That is the sort of hometown Washington beer with which I am familiar. Anyway, there were some more comments, but I'm going to cut it off there because it's quite late in the day that I'm doing this, and want to get on to uploading it. So thank you for joining me for today's edition of the Daily Solve. I hope you enjoyed it. I will be back tomorrow for Friday, the first of 2 themeless puzzles for the week. Do join me then. But until that point, please do have an excellent remainder of your Thursday. Take care.